Welcome to the Krafty Max BeadALong. This is what we're going to be making today, is this beautiful bracelet. It is very soft and subtle. Okay. Now, in order to make this bracelet, you will need glass pearls 4 millimeters, super duos, or some I guess are calling them now super twins, I'm not sure, and then 11/0 seed beads. Now you can have them all matching or conflicting colors depending on the outcome you want for your bracelet. You will also need a 4-pronged clasp, slide lock clasp. Now what I did is it had 4 prongs, and if you look close you can see where I've sanded it off. And I didn't seal this one yet because I wanted you guys to be able to see where I sanded it. So I cut the extra 2 prongs off and then sanded it. And so that when you're done, you only have the 2 prongs. Okay? And a couple jump rings, a needle and thread, and a pair of scissors. And you're set. So what we want to do first is I use Fireline, and I use 6 pound. If you bought a kit from me, this is what you got in your kit. And you got way too much to start with. So cut about a 3 to 5 foot length off, usually about the stretch of your arms wide. Okay? Then thread your needle. Now, in order to thread your needle, sometimes it's a little difficult. So if you use your teeth and kind of flatten the end of the thread, that will help a great deal. Okay? Now, I like to do no stop beads. Some people prefer stop beads. If you do, you can put a stop bead in. But for me personally, I wrap my non-working tail about 3 or 4 times around my pinky. Now, you don't want it tight because you don't want to cut circulation off your pinky. Okay, but you do want it to where it's wrapped enough so that when you pull, it doesn't slide right back off. And then if you just curl your pinky a little bit, it's out of the way. All right, so to start, we're going to pick up a seed bead, a super duo. See, I'm already setting us off on the wrong track. We're going to pick up a seed bead, a glass pearl, and a seed bead. Okay, now you're going to pick up 5 super duos. Now these should be, if you've got the right kind, the same on both sides, so you don't have to worry about which hole you go into. Okay, and then you're going to go in a circle with your needle back around and go back up through the seed bead and the pearl that you put on. Okay, so your thread should be in a circle, and when you pull it, you just slide it down. And I usually keep my finger in there, and the reason is then it's not rubbing on the beads, it's actually rubbing on my finger for the most part. So you're going to pull it down until you get to what's considered a comfortable length to working. Because see, I use this as an anchor and wrap my hand around it and keep this tension, and that helps keep it in my hands. So this is what you should have. Now you're going to pick up 2 more seed beads, and you're going to move to the top of the fan. Okay? And you're going to put 1 seed bead in each of the top holes all the way around the fan. Okay, all the way to the end. And then you're going to do the same thing as you did on the other end. You're going to add 2, and you're going to go back through the seed bead, the pearl, and the seed bead. So you just made another circle, and you're fully completing it. And when you pull your thread tight, now you may have to pull your thread each time. That is up to you, and that depends on how experienced you are working with the thread. You should have a look like this. Okay, and I'll do a couple of them so you can walk through them with me. Now we're going to move our thread, and we're going to go through the 2 that we just added, and we're going to move it up through these and up through these until you get, now it doesn't matter how you're holding it, okay, whether you consider yours at the top or the bottom or the left or the right, but when you come up, you should have your center one, which is a number 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you should be coming out either the left side or the right side. Again, it doesn't really matter, but if you're following my path, you're going to be coming out the left side. Okay? Now what you're going to do is you are going to add 2 seed beads. I'm sorry, 3 seed beads, a pearl, and 3 seed beads. And you're going to make another circle. You're going to come back to here. Okay, so I've circled, I came out here, come around to here. Okay, now I'm going to flip my work. Again, you don't have to if it's not comfortable for you, but that way I am coming out the right-hand side because I'm right-handed. Now you're going to move your thread up and through this pearl to the other side. And I'm sorry that I'm squishing my work. The reason that I do that, and I encourage you to do that until you pull your thread tight, is because it stops your thread from tangling with itself. So when you hold where the thread is and pull, it flattens out the thread as you go. Okay, so now I'm coming out this side. I'm going to turn my work again. So now I'm coming out. I have 1 down here in the fan. I have 2 empties or 2 fillers, and then 1 up here, and I'm coming out of this one. And guess what? I'm going to do the same thing I did here. I'm going to pick up, here's 1, so I'm going to pick up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 super duos, and I'm going to come back around through this seed bead and this seed bead. Pull it tight, and I have another fan. So we're going to just keep repeating this pattern, okay? So once you make the fan, you add 2 seed beads, and you go up to the top. So this is covering your thread, moving up to the top. And then add a seed bead all the way around your fan. And when you pull your thread and you get done with each step, then that's when you make sure your tension is right. Right now, if you notice my thread's just moving all over, it's okay. So now we're going to put this back through here and come back out. So again, we're making a circle. Okay? All right, and so going to pull this tight. Now, this is something you're going to run across. If you notice, these are loose and these are tight. We don't want that, and that's because I let my tension go when I was filling it in. So I need to pull this back, okay? And if you have to, like I just did, pull back some beads from a previous row, and this is what your fan should look like. And once again, I missed a step. Let me go back here for a second, I'm sorry. And I forgot to add these too. So see, you guys learn from my mistakes as well. But the mistakes that I make are the common ones. I've done this pattern probably about 8 times now, and I still make these mistakes. So by me making the mistakes, you'll be learning too. We'll leave it at that. All right, so now you see that I have the fan and I'm coming out the right side just like I did down here, okay? Do the same thing, I'm gonna move up. So I'm gonna go all the way through, up to the top, pass through the third one and that seed bead, because the reason we have to do that is so that we make another circle, okay? So in order to make a circle, you have to come out this side and go back in this side. So now I'm going to add my next pearl, just like we did down here. We're going to pick up 3 And remember, 2 of them become these 2 fillers. The third one becomes this start of the next fan. So we're going to pick up 3, a purl, and 3. Make your circle. It's coming out here. It's going all the way around to here. And for me, I personally move my work over. Come up here and go out the first seed bead. And the reason that I go out the first seed bead is because this is the start of my next fan. So I'm going to do one more here. So I have the start of the fan. Now I'm going to pick up 5 of the super duos. Okay, and I'm going to come back and make a circle. Pull them tight. Okay, one thing to watch when you're picking up the super duos, okay, you don't necessarily have to go through your pile first, but you can if you want. But as you're picking them up, make sure that they all have that second hole. Every once in a while, you'll find one that doesn't have a hole or is broken. So you don't want to add them and find out when you start to go back through them, because then you have to take it all back. Okay, so I'm going to add 2 as my filler here to move my thread up to the top. And then I'm going to add 1 all the way around. Okay, now I'm at the bottom, so I'm going to add my 2 fillers and come back through there. Pull it tight. And see, once again, that row below it. So I'm taking these 2, they were the fillers, because the bottom part of that is the row before it, and pulling that tight, and there's your fan. Okay, now here's what you have to remember when you're doing the fans. There is some space here where we attach the clasp itself. So when you're doing your fans, okay, now this is not made to fit me, obviously, but you want to remember that you've got about 1 inch on either side that is going to be a clasp or the parts to make the clasp fit and to attach. Okay, so what you want to do is make 2 strips. See how I have 2 strips of fans? But when you try it on, you want to make sure and try it on so that there's about 1 inch left. It is always better to be a little short than to be too much, because if you're a little short, you can add an extra jump ring in the clasp to make up a difference. If you're too long, you're out of luck. You have to take something apart. Okay, so make 2 strips of fans and go to the next video, and I'll see you then.